Please click like and subscribe and that little notification bell for the next episode. We're at the filling station right now talking to Vern. Now I want to tell you, Vern built Route 66.
That was in the fall of '44. They were working from the Mackinac south on the southbound lane. It was in the fall years. They had to move the Mackinac River. It was rerouted farther west because the original Mackinac come too close to the northbound lane that they didn't have room to put the southbound lane in. They moved the river.
Talking to Bob and Yvonne. Now, Bob and Yvonne have a very interesting story. They got engaged on Route 66.
Well, I think it was May of 1964, and we were sitting out there, and I asked her to marry me.
Just like that?
Over a pizza burger, I think.
We're at the Oasis.
The Oasis.
Oh, the Oasis.
On Route 66.
I'm talking to Al right now. He's going to tell us a little interesting story about Route 66. What do you got to say, Al?
Well, my dad worked a little bit on it at that time, and I bought gasoline at the curb down here. There's a big curb, 14 cents a gallon.
Wow.
I had an old single-cylinder motorcycle that rode down that road just a wheel at about 40 miles an hour.
And what was the brand of it?
Harley Davidson.
Oh, single-cylinder Harley.
Oh, yeah.
We have another story on Route 66. Vivian actually got married on the route.
First saw my husband, I went into a ball game out here at the old ball field. And the next year I was down to a dance at the old Sunny Slope in Bloomington. And he was there. I was visiting some people down there later that year. And he came over there and he said, "Got something for you." He handed me a marriage license. We went up to Just a Piece on Old 66 at Towanda and got married at 7 o'clock at night. We were married 32 years and he passed away. But anyhow, here's the marriage license.
This is the original marriage license.
And I didn't, he got it on Saturday and I didn't even sign for it till Monday. We got married that night, 7 o'clock.
Standing here with Bill and Lloyd, they're going to give us a little Route 66 trivia.
Well, I've lived along Route 66 most of my life.
What was the first gas station there ever was?
The first one that was in town that I know of was at a private home down here, and a guy named Ross Harmon had a shop there, and I think the tanks are still in the ground.
Wow.
The word on the street up in Chicago was that this road was had some 100-mile-an-hour curves in it. And they come down from the north and they'd go around that curve, and a lot of them didn't make it. I saw 2 or 3 turn over around there when I was working my dad's station. Another story was that Al Capone was the one that was building this, the motel that he's showing a picture of now. It was made for some of his people that run from St. Louis to Chicago, Springfield, or wherever they had business. And that was their stopover. They go to these little cabins and either hide out or stay all night.
We're talking to Lloyd right now, and Lloyd's going to share a little Route 66 trivia with us.
And my grandfather owned a garage up on Main Street, and he had a gas station right on the main drag up here.
How long ago was this?
Well, it was a long time ago. I would say 50 years ago.
50 years ago.
Yeah.
Now we're talking to Janice Elder.
I wanted to say that when the road first became a hard road, it was number 4. And 2 men that were engineers came here to help start building it. Each of them married a girl from Lexington, and they lived many years here.
We're sitting with Margaret right now, and Margaret was working at the Oasis, and she's going to tell us a little story about that.
Well, it was my first job. Jobs weren't easy to get for teenage girls, particularly back then. There weren't very many jobs to be had. So we were hired as waitresses by the Winterlands, Arlene and Elmo. And they were pretty strict bosses, but they were a great first job for a kid to have. We had to make ice cream cones and sundaes interminably. After the Little League ball games, the Oasis would be just mobbed by kids.
And what year was this?
Oh, it was probably '63. I worked there 2 years in high school, and then I worked for the Winterlands for 2 more summers.
There was a fellow here in town that that used to tell the story about being a bag man for Al Capone. And they found out one time he lost a bag or something. They found out that Al had a hit on him, and he's told us every once in a while about his favorite thing was to say, grab a handful of boxcar and left town. So he had quite a story, and he'd tell it to anybody that wanted to listen. I heard him quite a bit. His name was Kenny Perry.
Oh